Today, I'm really excited to be taking a closer look at the all-new Razer Kishi V3. Razer has graciously sent me this device and asked me to be one of the first to test it and share my thoughts. This is not a sponsored video, no money has changed hands, but they did send me this device to review and they did not ask for it back yet, so I guess I get to keep it. Anyways, if you've seen some of my other videos on the channel, you'll know that I'm a big fan of mobile gaming and game streaming, especially self-hosted PC game streaming. So of course I'm stoked to test out not only the hardware of the new device, but also the new software as well. So again, thanks to Razer for sending this device over to the studio. So first of all, the hardware. The Razer Kishi V3 that I have here is the $100 entry level mobile controller that's just the beginning to the new Razer Kishi V3 lineup. There are two more devices alongside this one. There is also a V3 Pro for $150 that has some sweet Sensa HD haptics built in, as well as support for mini tablets like an iPad mini or Android tablet up to 8 inches in size. It's essentially a direct replacement for the Razer Kishi Ultra. And for the first time ever, there is a V3 Pro XL that is purpose built for only full-size tablets, and that is $200. All of the new Razer Kishi V3 controllers feature full-size controller ergonomics. It's essentially based on stretching their Razer Wolverine V3 Pro controller apart and putting your mobile device in the middle. All three of the new devices feature TMR thumbsticks, which is basically like Hall Effect on steroids, and the Pro and XL models actually have removable interchangeable thumbstick caps. All of the V3 lineup have Hall Effect triggers, dual back buttons, extended case compatibility, a 3.5mm audio jack, USB-C pass-through charging, and the ability to use the device as a wired controller with that same USB-C port. The regular V3 sports a 4-way D-pad, while the V3 Pro and V3 Pro XL get an 8-way D-pad. The regular V3 does not come with L4 and R4 bumper buttons, but the V3 Pro and V3 Pro XL do come with those bumper buttons. And the regular V3 does not include haptic motors, while the V3 Pro and XL come with built-in haptics that Razer are calling Sensa HD haptics. So those are the differences in the hardware of the new V3 lineup. But again, the one I have here is the $100 regular Razer Kishi V3. Non-Pro, non-XL, and there's a reason for that. But why the base model? Well, it basically boils down to being an iPhone user. So that's right, iPhone users, listen up, because even though this one's the base model, it just might be the best bang for the buck for you. Firstly, there's a lot of iOS developers that just don't support controller haptics in their iOS apps, and this is really important to keep in mind that this is not really a problem on Razer's end or Apple's, but somewhere in between. It's up for the iOS developers to pick and choose which kind of haptics they support on their iOS apps, and it's basically just unlikely that you're going to find a lot of iOS apps that support those controller haptics. So Razer has informed their customers by noting that Sensa HD haptics does not support iOS. So it begs the question, if you're an iPhone user, why spend the extra money for the V3 Pro just to get the Sensa HD haptics and then find out that they don't work? Well, it's my assumption that knowing this, Razer decided to consciously streamline the V3 Pro down to cut the haptics and just a few other features to provide a really cost-effective option, not just for iPhone users, but iPhone users certainly stand to gain the most bang for the buck from this stripped-down device. Smart, right? Since the haptics are essentially dead weight on iOS, why not cut them out and make a smaller, lighter, but more importantly cheaper controller for more consumers to enjoy, especially on iPhone. It also works with Android phones, don't get me wrong, but the argument here is for iPhone users to get the most bang for the buck with all the features that they need and none that they don't. If you're an iPhone user, you're getting a lot of the features from the V3 Pro on the V3 regular for about 50 bucks off the MSRP right out of the gate, basically. So why pay more when you can get this V3 regular with all the core features for less money? You're still getting the TMR thumbsticks on all models, you're still getting Hall Effect triggers, you're still getting the back buttons with mouse click switches, class-leading case compatibility, a headphone jack, and USB-C pass-through charging, and a wired controller mode. But regardless of platform, if you're just a casual gamer, then I would have to say the V3 regular is the one to get. Android users who don't care about haptics, tablets, or claw grips would also get along just as well with the V3 regular. However, if you're a sweaty Android gamer claw gripping your way through Battle Royale matches, then maybe the V3 Pro is for you. So now that we've got the V3 hardware lineup covered, let's zoom in on the software. Now keep in mind, you don't need to use Razer's apps or accounts. When you plug in the Razer Kishi V3, it just works. However, the Razer Nexus app is easy to use, organizes all your games in one place, and most importantly of all, is subscription free. That's great and all, but none of this is really news. It's the same Razer Nexus app we've always had. What is new though is Razer PC Remote Play, which they showed off at CES earlier this year. Razer PC Remote Play is Razer's own self-hosted PC game streaming solution. Just install the Razer Cortex app on your gaming PC and turn on the Remote Play feature. Then install the Razer Remote Play app on your phone and pair the device, which if you're logged into your Razer account on both devices, it should pair automatically, but it's not required. Without a Razer account, you can just use a pin to pair the devices. Now I have access to my PC games from launchers like Steam, Xbox, EA, Epic Games, and more. You don't have to go searching for which games to add, there's no configuration required, it just scans your PC for games and they show up here. Easy. Instead of streaming your physical PC monitor, Razer PC Remote Play creates its own virtual monitor and streams your games at the max resolution and frame rate to match your device, which is a step up for me since my iPhone 15 Pro supports high resolution and 120Hz frame rate. My PC games show up right here in the Razer Nexus mobile app alongside my other iOS games, which makes PC game streaming feel almost native to my phone. The list of PC games can get pretty long though, so I recommend scrolling all the way to the end and tapping to see all all of your PC games in a grid if you're looking for something specific. Tapping on a title simultaneously launches the game on your PC and starts the remote connection. It doesn't always connect successfully though. I've noticed if there's any type of pop-up on your PC when starting the game, like some kind of pop-up that you have to click, it will fail the connection. I'm not really sure if this is Razer's fault since it depends on which game I'm launching, but if I launch a game and there's no pop-ups, it's probably going to launch just fine. The catch-all option though is the desktop choice. You can choose the desktop option and then just mouse around your desktop the old-fashioned way and launch your games by just selecting them like usual. It's definitely not as slick as just tapping on the game title, but it's more bulletproof in case of any pop-ups trying to sabotage my game from starting. And if you're not a fan of Razer's implementation, don't worry, they're not forcing you to use it. You can still use Moonlight and Sunshine or the updated Apollo fork for your game streaming needs. In fact, you can add any app you want to the Razer Nexus UI by simply opening that app and then pressing the Nexus button. You'll see that app that you just had open pop into the Razer Nexus UI, easy peasy. The Razer PC Remote Play connection quality has been really good for me, definitely on par with Moonlight and Sunshine, although it does take a little bit longer to connect. Once connected though, I'm getting really low latency and high refresh rates. It has no problem keeping up with my mad Tetris skills, which if you know anything about playing Tetris, any type of lag will definitely ruin your rhythm. Shoutouts to the D-pad too. Even though it's the 4-way D-pad on this regular V3 model, it honestly feels really nice and precise for a game like Tetris. And I have no problem getting absolutely destroyed in Star Wars Battlefront 2 now that all those returning players are coming back and the game is having a resurgence. I can't even blame the controller or the remote play connection quality for how bad I am, so that's a good thing, I guess. Everything's working great on my Wi-Fi 6E connection at home. That is a key word here though, at home. If you're looking to go out and about and remote back into your PC at home and enjoy some games on the go, well, Razer says that should work too, but I haven't gotten it to work for me. But it might just be something weird on my network. But back at home, sometimes my iPhone screen is just too small, and if I'm in the mood for some absolutely gigantic size gaming, I can plug the Razer Kishi V3 with a USB-C cable into my Quest 3 headset and play on a hilariously oversized screen. Here, I'm jumping into Forza Horizon 5 on a gigantic screen, and the Hall effect triggers are doing wonders to keep my Lamborghini on the road. So yeah, the Razer Kishi V3 lineup is a huge step forward for phone controllers and just mobile gaming in general. Obviously, a lot of people are going to want to buy this for Fortnite because it just came out on iOS again after so many years. But for me, it's just really nice to see more manufacturers putting a big emphasis on self-hosted PC game streaming. And on the hardware side, you know the TMR thumbsticks aren't going to get any stick drift. You'll never have to worry about battery life since it's just straight up doesn't have one, and it's portable enough to throw in your bag and take with you wherever you want. On the software front, the Razer Nexus app is super snappy and easy to use, and the Razer PC Remote Play feature turns your phone into a PC gaming handheld whenever you step away from your gaming PC. I actually made a video a couple years ago about the Backbone 1, and although I was really excited for it, I ultimately just couldn't recommend it with its smaller joysticks, grips, and buttons. It just wasn't a good enough controller to justify the price tag. But a lot's changed for mobile controllers since then, and the Razer Kishi V3 is really the first phone clamp style controller to change my mind. Now that the Razer Kishi V3 supports these full-size ergonomics, there's really no reason for me to carry around an Xbox controller anymore. I would much rather throw this Razer Kishi V3 in my bag and take it everywhere with me to get a quick gaming fix in while traveling than have to carry around an Xbox controller, connect it and disconnect it from all my other devices with Bluetooth, and remember to keep it charged. You really could buy a Razer Kishi V3 and use it as basically your only controller for your phone, your PC, and other devices like a Quest 3 headset or whatever you got. And if you're looking for an Asus ROG Ally or a Logitech G Cloud type device just for game streaming around the house, well then maybe you could save some money and just put your phone into a Razer Kishi V3 and call it a day. Let's be honest, our phones have a lot better displays than some of these other devices anyways, and you pay enough for them, might as well put them to work. So yeah, I really like this new Kishi V3 offering from Razer, not just as an upgrade over the V2, but for mobile controllers in general.